And welcome everybody to Average Sports by Average Guys. It's another episode. We are here today getting super excited, super amped, super ready for another week. It's week number 4 in season number 2. I'm Eric. That's Ty on the other side. Ty, how you doing?
They can't see me, Eric. It's a podcast.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe?
We haven't decided yet.
Okay. Well, for those out there tuning in that might also be able to see us, got some creepy spy cam in Eric's room. I don't know. Yes,
it's
welcome.
happening, man.
It's another episode. And I'm pretty excited, too. There's a lot to talk about. A bunch has happened, actually, since the last time we recorded anything. But
there has been.
We got
but you know what hasn't
start
happened?
Yeah, that's right.
There are 4 major league players that haven't signed. Harper, Manny, Dallas Keuchel, Craig Kimbrell have not signed. So guess what we're not doing? Not talking about them.
Those guys need to get a job. All right.
Yeah, they need to get a job. Lazy
You know
bums.
who does have a job? A new job. Flacco is on the move out of Baltimore.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I like that move, by the way. Going to Denver, right?
Do you? I mean, how many years has John Elway been looking for a quarterback?
The model has worked before. That's all I can say there.
Yeah, it's with Peyton Manning,
who won a Super Bowl, just one.
One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time at work. But every other quarterback he's attempted is busted in his face.
But he hasn't brought a real veteran in. He was always trying to bring younger guys, untested, unproven. That's all I'm going to say about that. What else has happened? A little bit of interesting news with Kareem Hunt. He's got a job again, going to the Browns. In all honesty, I don't like to get too political, but makes me lose a little respect for the Browns. That guy, I don't know, had some on-season issues, and it's going to make
I'm
it more.
Not surprised though with Dorsey, who was the GM of the Chiefs and drafted Hunt, and now he's the GM of the Browns. I'm not really surprised that that's where he ended up. If you had to really pick a place, that's kind of where I would have picked. Yeah.
Okay. In some NCAA, Kentucky upset number 1 Tennessee over the previous weekend. That was an interesting game, and it wasn't even a tight, close, dramatic game.
No,
Kentucky
they beat him down.
Yeah, really stuck it to him. And over in Ure, Sweden, Michaela Schifrin won her 4th straight slalom world championship. How about that?
I saw that,
That's
and that
never happened before.
That was the group of Lindsey Vohn's last race, wasn't it? Was that the same ones that you were watching? Yeah.
Oh yeah, part of the same. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So, what's some sports you saw lately, Eric?
Well, I mean, some of the stuff that I saw is the St. Louis Blues have been making national media, not just here locally here in St. Louis, but national media 10 games in a row, and their best player Vladimir Tarasenko is on a 12-game point streak. So, good job for the Blues. They have come out of the cellar. They were in the very bottom of not only the West but in the NHL on January 3rd. Worst team in the NHL. They're now 3rd place in the Central Division, and they are very, very hot. They are dominating and rolling over teams. It's incredible to sit there and watch them. So good job for the Blues. Congratulations to them. Good for the people that happen to live here also in St. Louis. Also, Team LeBron in the NBA All-Star game last night beat Team Giannis. It was a high-scoring game, I think like 160-something to 150-something.
Oh, my gosh.
0 defense was played.
Yes.
And one of the best plays of the year, if not the goal of the year, Alexander Barkov absolutely assassinates Carey Price with his goal. If you haven't seen it, jump over to our page. You can find the video there. I posted it there earlier today, although it happened a couple days ago. Barkov absolutely has this incredible goal over one of the best goaltenders in the NHL currently. Carey Price absolutely undresses him. If you haven't seen it, please jump on our page and check it out.
It's pretty sweet. On to our topic, though, of this episode. What the hell is the AAF, Eric? What's going on? 2 weeks in, and I still never really seen a live broadcast of this. It's the American Allegiance football? What? I got that wrong. Help me put this together, Eric. It's out of nowhere, it feels like. And with little promotion, and it's a full-blown thing. What do you think of it?
So it's the Alliance of American Football.
Okay.
It's one of the several leagues that is coming into play. We talked about the XFL on an earlier episode. This is a different professional league. And there is a third professional league that we can talk about on the social media platforms. If you guys are interested, we are happy to talk about it there. But this one has had, they're in week 2 right now. Technically going into week 3, they've played 2 weeks. They have an 18 format similar to the XFL. All of these teams, one of the things that we noticed are very southern teams, with the exception of the Salt Lake Stallions. So there are 8 teams. I'll just run them through here real quick. Atlanta, Birmingham, Memphis, Orlando, Arizona, Salt Lake, San Antonio, San Diego. And one of the things that I find that's very interesting about this is only 2 of their 8 teams play in currently held NFL cities, where the XFL, 7 of their 8 teams play in NFL cities. So a little bit interesting there on the strategy. But what is it? It is professional football. There are players in this league that you would know. Trent Richardson. Everyone probably remembers him because he burned him in their fantasy, a couple of years ago in the NFL by them drafting him super high and then him killing him because he would go for 30 yards and, maybe a touchdown, but he would kill you. But I mean, those are the 8 teams. It's not terrible football, but it's not great. The quarterback play definitely leaves something to be desired if you watched it already. But Ty, what have you seen? What do you know?
Man, so I had to look up the history, right? Like, where the heck did this come from? It's an entire league. I mean, this isn't just 11 guys finding another 11 guys and they play on a field on a weekend. It had front office. There are coaches in place. There are bonuses enacted. There are signed contracts, Eric, and there are millions and millions of dollars at stake here going around. And it's really actually so surprising to me that week 1, I had never even heard of it.
I know.
Maybe I didn't go seek it out, but you didn't seem to have heard much about it either leading up to it.
No. Like, I know that I had heard about it when they announced it, but as far as, like, leading up to the season, hey, this is their inaugural season. Like, they have a major contract with CBS. They play on the NFL Network.
Yeah, and the NFL Network.
I think that this is meant to be that feeder system for them, and maybe that's why there wasn't a whole lot of promotion to it, but it felt like it kind of popped out of nowhere. And that's what I'm seeing from people that I've talked to, what it feels like when I'm sitting here talking to you, is that it just kind of popped out of nowhere. But, let me give you something here. The San Antonio Commanders are leading the league in attendance. I don't have the rest in front of me, so forgive me here, but they're leading the league in attendance. Their first week was 27,000, almost 28,000, 27.8. And their second week even topped that. They topped 29,000 fans, which doesn't really sound like a lot. They're like, oh, it's maybe a little bit more than some NBA and NHL teams because that's what they can fit, and it's less than baseball, most baseball stadiums. But you guys have to think about, like, this is minor league football, and it's still pulling in 30,000 people to come watch them play. Will this fade off? I don't know, but that's pretty good.
And with the broadcasting deals already in place, I mean, that's going to be really the big budget breaker for them, whether or not they have those TV deals enacted. So already I would think that the AAF is going to be set for a season 2 since they are seeing decent attendance, and it's a very short season. The playoffs are coming up in April, so that's a month and a half away, where the top 4 teams, I mean, there's only 8 teams, so you just take the top 4 and you play a 2-week playoff. There are a bunch of different rules in place. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but back to the history where all this came from. It's a NBC sport executive, Dick Ebersol, who was a co-founder of the XFL. His son, Charlie Ebersol, was inspired, and this is according to their Wikipedia page, and just doing a little research online. And it doesn't take too long to look it up. But Charlie was making a movie about XFL and for a 30 for 30 ESPN movie. And the speculation is that he was inspired to, well, I mean, Vince can do it. Maybe I can do it. Here's, there is a desire or a demand in the public for getting more football during those slower times of the year for when we, like where we are right now, which is why you would set cities in the South where it's a little bit warmer. You can still have that open air atmosphere. Onto the rule changes. Some odd things that they're getting rid of are like kickoffs. Teams are automatically going to start on the 25, and if you get rid of kickoffs, that means you don't have an offside kick. So what do you do with that? Well, the team, under certain parameters, will get a chance, if after scoring, will have a chance to make I just saw it a little bit ago. I think it's a 13-yard play or a 12-yard play they have to get. So it's an extended first down on one single play in order to keep the ball from their own 25. And so just a one-time play, and then they give the ball back to their opponent. So it's interesting.
That's pretty interesting, man.
It is. It's a little different.
I like that.
They're cutting also how much commercial time and the pace of play. So the play clock,
I can definitely get
you're
behind
down to 35
that.
seconds. So it is going to be the more exciting game, and it does seem like it's a little more physical. They're embracing the fact that the sport is a violent sport. So that's also something of interest. But with this history of being involved with the XFL and knowing some of those guys, being well aware that the XFL is going to debut in 2020, they must have rushed this through to get set for 2019 and be this competitor come 2020 so they can break through any, issues or bugs, get the bugs out. And then we're going to have 3 professional sports teams, or football leagues rather, in 2020, not to count arena football and Canadian football. There's so much football now, it feels like, as we head into through the course of this next year and the following. Can it all survive?
I mean, I don't know if it can all survive, but there is still a very dominant marketplace for the NFL. Obviously, it's still the most popular sport here in America. Despite what everybody was, quote unquote, walking away from the NFL, those old time people, let's be honest, man, the NFL doesn't want them anyway. The MLB is trying to push those people out as is to try and get these younger fans interested in their game. That's what they care about. That's what they want. And I think this is a way for them to have more avenues for more fans to generate more interest for the bigger product of the overall game. Can it all survive? I don't think so. I think we're going to see some paring down. I think we'll still end up with a XFL or an AAF system, support system to kind of funnel some of those players that don't necessarily make it onto practice squads or, get put on a practice squad, or there's 5th, 6th, 7th round draft picks that don't make the cut that end up in the, Alliance for American Football or for the XFL, whatever one kind of survives. And it'll kind of end up being that funnel system. Like, do you remember NFL Europe and them trying to really expand the game over there? Sure. And that didn't necessarily work, but, now they're expanding it with the pro game. But here in the States, it's already very established. And I think there is a place for minor league football in the States. And I think it will eventually produce a superior game at the NFL level. So I do think there's a place for it. It's the fact that they need to probably not compete against the NFL and more compete with the NFL.
I think it's well said.
Sense.
And the healthy
healthy competition.
Thank you. The competition is well
needed.
That's
what
I'm here for. That's why we do this together, buddy. We're through it. The competition is going to drive the game in a good way, you would think. And also, good for Alabama. They got a pro team now. We don't have to worry about
Birmingham Iron, baby.
Way to go. So some good topic there on the AAF. We will more likely in another 8 or 9 months follow up with the XFL as that starts to ramp up. And it'll be very interesting to see come 2020 on how all 3 of those leagues coexist and share that marketplace. It's going to be different for sure. This is a segment that I was looking forward to in this episode. It's our Who You Got coming up right now. And Eric, you came up with a good one. The worst logos in all of American professional sports. The current ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's preface it just a little bit. You prefaced it there a decent amount. So current logos
not good enough, though.
Of professional teams. So not soccer, not WNBA, not college teams, not the XFL or the AAF teams that we just talked about. Just the 4 major professional sports. And instead of going with the best, because that one's pretty clear with, your top 3 or 4, you look at the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Cowboys, you look at the Celtics, you look at teams like that. Great. Let's talk about the worst, because that's way more fun. And it's something that we can really talk about a little bit here. So I'm going to start. My worst logo for the NBA is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Really?